In the next two videos, we shall discuss ways of requirements gathering. In this first video, we shall overview these ways, and the second video will be dedicated to the other ways. One of the most common ways of gathering requirements is interview. Like in any real-life event, we need an interviewer, so that's one who asks questions, and an interviewee, the one who answers the questions. What are the pros and cons here? Pros. It's really easy, fast, and you need no special equipment, no special techniques, because indeed everybody understands the concept, because everybody knows what's an interview or just a communication between two or more people in real life is. And a lot of variations are possible here, like in person, video, call, email, messenger interviews, and so on. And we can even combine these techniques and anything like that. But sometimes we need some visual aids, because it's difficult to discuss something that's not visible, something a person have to imagine. So some additional efforts are required here. When an interview is finished, it really sometimes takes time to process the results and present them in some texts, tables, charts, and so on. And the interviewer, the one who asks the questions here, holds a lot of responsibility for the results. So he has to know what questions to ask, how to interpret the results, and so on. He is the one responsible here. But nevertheless, this is one of the most common way of gathering information and making requirements from that information. The next most common approach is meetings. Okay, you may see that brainstorming is crossed out here, because nobody really in everyday real life performs brainstorming. If you want to know what brainstorming is, what rules it must follow, please refer to publicly available resources on the internet. And we shall return to meetings themselves. Okay. The OK meeting looks similar to interviews. Unlike the interview, here we have several people, not only two main actors, like interviewer and interviewee. Here several people play active and rather equal roles. And let's review the pros and cons. Pros. Several people share the information in real time. They may provide feedback, receive feedback, exchange information, and it's all in real time with no delays. Usually meetings are faster than emails, messengers, and so on, because with emails or messengers obviously one has to wait for a response. But during in-person meeting or maybe a video call meeting, it's all in real time. And collective thinking is good here, because several people think over the same idea, over the same task, over the same problem. So it's more likely that they come to a great decision that one single person may. But of course there are cons, and meetings take time. A lot of time, because especially in managers' work, meetings may sometimes take the whole working day. That's why it's rather important to make meetings short and effective. Not just to sit and discuss something again and again, but to meet, discuss, and go working or doing something else. Once meetings need several people, those people should be together, and sometimes it is rather difficult, especially if these people are in different offices, in different cities. So that's why meetings sometimes are held by a video conference, audio conference, and other techniques that do not require in-person attendance. And once again, meetings take a lot of time. And if a person has intense rhythm of meetings, if one has several meetings a day, one meeting after another, so meetings may become tedious, boring, and finally inefficient because people got tired. They think and think and think and discuss, and they need some time to just rest and relax or switch to some other activities. So with intense meeting schedule, they may not be so efficient as they seem. The next technique is questioning and questionnaires as a technical aid. This is really fast and easy way to gather information from huge amount of people. If we need some response from end users, from potential clients, from some involved people, so why not to use this approach? We can quickly create a questionnaire, maybe using Google Forms or something like that, and just share the link saying, okay guys, click here, answer these questions quickly, and in the future we shall make something great for you. What are pros and cons here? Pros: great audience coverage. Of course, with special techniques we may put questions to thousands or even millions of respondents. That's good. That's really good. Fully automatic data processing, visualizing, and so on. We need no manual work here. Everything is fully automated. We only see the results instantly. If we repeat questioning from time to time, we may compare several results. For instance, we have version 1 of our application and version 2 of our application. And there were some responses about version 1, what's good, what's bad, and then some responses about version 2, what's good, what's bad. And we then may compare those responses and see that we've improved something or maybe left something for future improvements. And the cons here. If it is held improperly, like bad questions, bad formulation, irrelevant questions, wrong audience, and so on, we'll receive bad answers and all our efforts will be wasted. Especially if we choose wrong target audience. We shall receive answers from some random people, so all the answers may be considered random. Or if our target audience is somehow demotivated, people may only click the random variant or another. They do not think, they do not provide valid information, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, if we hold this improperly, we may receive no data, and that's rather good for now. But in the worst situation, we may receive some data that looks like good one. For instance, imagine such a situation that we give our respondents a picture with 3 buttons, like magenta button, blue button, green button, and we ask them, what color do you like the most? Let's imagine that for some reason all our respondents prefer the red button. It's not here. What's the closest to red? Okay, maybe it's magenta. So we make magenta button because it looks good, 100% answered that they want magenta, and we make magenta. But for real, those 100% wanted a red color, not magenta one. So once again, we should absolutely think how to organize the questioning properly and how to make the questionnaire properly. Otherwise, we may get such a bad situation. The next technique, called observation, it is not so widespread, not so common, but sometimes it's extremely useful. It allows us not only to hear about something, but to see that something. Because, yes, of course, people tend to lie. And not only to others, but what's worse, to lie to themselves. They may not understand something, they may be misled by their best intentions, or for any other reasons they may provide incorrect data with incorrect answers. But observation always shows the truth. We need special staff, special professionals that know how to observe, how to collect the data, how to do these things right. And what are the pros here? Yes, of course, experienced observer may pick some mission-critical details that no interview, no meeting, no questionnaire and no any other technique can show us. This method is rather objective, so there is usually less misinterpretation. Less preferences like I think that or I guess that. There is only observation. That's good. And as we receive true data here, we may sometimes even reevaluate the whole problem approach to find out some new, interesting, effective and efficient decisions. But of course there are cons. It's extremely hard to organize because it requires special preparation, special conditions, sometimes special equipment and tools. And of course it requires an experienced observer first of all. And these people are rather rare ones, as it is stated in the next point. And like with questioning, if it's improperly organized, observation may give us poor data. How can it be? Imagine a situation when we ask some user to perform some list of actions. And we tell him that, see, an observer will sit nearby you. He will be observing everything that you will do. He will record everything, and he will then compose a report on your actions. Of course, the person who should perform the list of actions may become nervous, even frightened, so he would not work as in his everyday life. He would make a lot of mistakes. Of course, in reality, nobody, hopefully nobody, conducts observation like in this extremely overdone example. But it's just to understand that if it's held improperly, the observation would give us invalid data. And speaking generally, if it's held improperly, any technique may give us invalid data. Interviews and meetings and questionnaires and observations and any other technique may provide us with poor data if it's held improperly. So our goal is to get more and more experience with each of these techniques to get decent data, not a bad one. And we shall continue reviewing other techniques in the next video.